Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Nowsherwan Ahmed, and today I'll be presenting my final project for macroeconomics. The focus of this presentation is on core macroeconomic models and the relevance to Pakistan's economy. I'll walk you through key theoretical models we've studied and show how they apply or sometimes fail to apply in Pakistan's real world economic context. Let's start with the purpose of this project. The goal is twofold. First, to explain the core macroeconomic models, and second, to apply them to Pakistan's economy to understand their practical relevance. The models we'll cover are the quantity theory of money, the Phillips curve, the LM curve, and the solo growth model. My focus is not just on theory but on how these models inform real world policy decisions in Pakistan. The quantity theory of money is our starting point. It's summarized by the equation mv is equal to py, where m is the money supply, v is the velocity of money, p is the price level, and y is output. The theory assumes that the velocity of money is constant in the long run, which means that any increase in the money supply leads directly to an increase in prices, also known as inflation. In Pakistan's case, this model is very relevant. When the money supply increases rapidly, inflation tends to rise. To counter this, the State Bank of Pakistan, or SBP, often tightens monetary policy, raising interest rates to slow down inflationary pressures. Next, we have the Phillips curve, which describes an inverse relationship between inflation and unemployment in the short run. In the long run, however, the curves become vertical at the natural rate of unemployment. Pakistan's experience between 2022 and 2024 has been a classic case of stagflation, high inflation with stagnant or even rising unemployment. Currency depreciation worsened inflation, and while the SBP responded by raising interest rates, this also made it harder for businesses to invest and hire, which resulted in slowing job creation. Next, we have the LM curve. The LM curve basically represents the money market, showing the relationship between interest rates and income levels. It's derived from the condition that real money demand must equal real money supply. The curve is upward sloping when income rises, people demand more money, which pushes up interest rates. In Pakistan, the SPP plays a central role by setting benchmark interest rates. These decisions affect liquidity, investment, and overall economic activity. Higher interest rates may help reduce inflation, but they also discourage borrowing and investment, creating a delicate act for policymakers. Moving forward, we have the ISLM graph. In this ISLM diagram, we will show that what happens when aggregate demand increases, for example, due to government spending or tax cuts. The IS curve shifts to the right, causing both output and interest rates to rise. This model helps explain how fiscal and monetary policy interact and why coordination between the two is crucial, especially in economies like Pakistan's where shocks are frequent and often external. Now we have the solo growth model. Now let's talk about long-term growth. The solo model focuses on capital, labor, and especially technology as drivers of output. Its key insight is that economies tend to converge to a steady state where output per worker grows only if technology improves. In Pakistan, there are clear challenges. Investment in human capital is low, adoption lags, and population growth outpaces productivity gains. This shows a strong need for structural reforms, especially in education, innovation, and institutional capacity. Moving forward, we have the comparison table. Here's a quick comparison of the four models we've covered. Initially, we have QTM, which deals with inflation in the long run and shows how excessive money supply destabilizes prices. Then the Philip curve links inflation and unemployment, but breaks down during stagflation. Then the LM curve helps us understand short-run monetary dynamics and interest rate policy. The Solo model gives us a framework for thinking about sustainable long-run growth. Each model provides a lens through which we can assess Pakistan's challenges and policies. Moving further, we will now discuss about the policy implications. So, what does this all mean for policymakers in Pakistan? Basically, from the QTM, it's clear that controlling money supply is essential to fighting inflation. The Philip curve suggests that inflation should be managed gradually to avoid sharp rises in unemployment. The LM curve warns against over-reliance on interest rate hikes, which can hurt investment. And the Solo model urges long-term investment in education, technology, and institutional reforms for true development. Policy decisions must balance short-term needs with long-term goals. Now the graph summary. Now after the graph summary, to conclude our assignment and presentation, macroeconomic models are powerful tools for understanding and guiding economic policy, but in countries like Pakistan, they must be adapted to the local context, which includes frequent external shocks, weak institutions, and structural constraints. A balanced approach is needed, one that stabilizes the short term while building foundation for long term growth.